أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. How would you measure somebody who thinks that they're a genius or that they're intelligent or that they're wise? How do you tell if somebody's actually smart or not? What are some ways? Yeah.
Test them with the worksheet.
Test them with the worksheet. Okay. What would you put on the worksheet?
A question.
Like, what is 1 + 1? A little bit harder than that? 2 + 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think?
They don't show off or like act smart. They don't like boast about it. They just are really like test them, kind of like.
So humility is one quality you're saying. That's a good one. But what if they're not smart and they're just humble too? They don't have any knowledge at all. Would that still count as being smart or genius or wise? Let's see. Anybody else? Yeah.
They're organized.
They're organized. Okay. So with somebody who's organized, they have everything in order, they know where it is, that makes them smart, genius, intelligent, wise?
Yeah, because they get things done on time.
Get things done on time. What if it's bad things done on time?
Then you would do it.
Then they wouldn't do it. Interesting. Okay, yeah.
Well, if they have glasses, that means they're also even smarter.
If they have glasses, that means they're smarter. Well, then I guess you're smarter than me. I mean, my perfect 20/20 vision, I guess we're not that smart, huh? Yeah, what do you think?
Test them with everything.
Test them with everything. So you have to give an everything test, all right? Okay, so then there's only one being that can actually pass that test and can write the test, I guess, too. Yeah, last comment. Pay attention, like right now. So those of you who are not paying attention, according to you, you're not smart. That's what she's saying. Yeah, that's not, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, last comment.
If you ask them what 2 + 3 is, and if they say 4, then they're smart.
You're smarter than me because I don't understand that question or the answer. Okay. So some of you are talking about organization, doing things on time. Some of you are talking about information and tests and knowledge. And some of you are talking about, no, it's about how you show your behavior. So which way do you think that the Quran and Ahlul Bayt answer that question? Glasses? Sorry, it's not in the Quran or Ahlul Bayt. None of that. Sorry.
How you show your behavior?
How you show your behavior, right? Yeah. So we might think that, okay, give somebody an IQ test or see how many books they've read or how much Quran they've memorized or things like this, but that's actually not a measure of somebody's intelligence or their smartness or their genius or their wisdom at all. And there's a few riwayat. There's one that Ayatollah Jawadi brings in his book that we'll mention today. And this one is narrated from Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. And he's reported to have said that in this one, that there's 6 specific qualities that can tell you if somebody actually is really intelligent or not. If they're really smart and they know what they're doing with their aql and their intelligence. So the first one is musahaba, to be a sahib with somebody, right? So musahaba means being a good companion, being a good neighbor, knowing how to interact with people, right? Part of that means humility, obviously, right? Because there's some people who know a lot, but then they end up showing it off, right? Would you really consider that person really intelligent? If they have all this knowledge, which is great, they know 2 + 3 is 4 apparently, or whatever, or maybe they have glasses, but they just constantly go around, they make people feel bad, they insult people, they ridicule them, they bully people. Would we want to hang out with people like that? No. So obviously they can't be that smart if they can't get people, right, hanging around them. So a good person at the very least knows how to interact with people with good characteristics like that. The second one is beyond just hanging around and having good friends and being a good friend, being a good child, being a good parent, is mu'amala. So mu'amala has to do with what? Has to do with money. So what does it mean to be smart with money? Does that mean knowing how to save? Does that mean knowing how to spend? It means, so those of you who have been doing Surah Al-Mutaffifin, it means knowing that I don't cheat people in transactions either. You know, sometimes maybe when we're playing board games or things like that, when it's not really about money, but we're engaging in a transaction, right? We're playing a game. And, you know, maybe, you know, in some games, you're supposed to get coins at the beginning of the game, right? There's like fake money in the game. So every player is supposed to get 5 coins. So, all right, here's 5 for you, 5 for you, 5 for you. And then you decide, you know what, I think I'm going to take 6. And then you notice that the next time somebody else is controlling the coins, they take 6 for themselves and they hand out 5 to everybody else. What are you going to do? You're going to get upset. It's like, hey, that's not fair. Why'd you do that? Right? Well, if I was intelligent enough, then I would be fair all the time in all my transactions. And that would help other people be fair in their transactions too. So in all of our transactions, we're fair, we're just, and we're doing things properly. That's what an intelligent person does. The next thing is al-wilaya. Not like, oh man, what does this keep getting louder and louder? The next thing is wilaya, meaning having power and authority. What you can really tell about somebody's intelligence and how smart they are is what happens when you give them a little bit of power. All right? Let's say if any of us became, well, not any of us, but the ones who are students here, what would you do if you were a teacher for a day over here? Right? Some of you might come in and say, okay, I'm the only one allowed to talk, and everybody has to give me their snacks, and you might say stuff like this, right? You're really oppressive, right? Something like that. And then that's a sign of somebody who's not very intelligent. Well, you might think that they're intelligent because they're getting everybody snacks, but that's not an intelligent person, because they're oppressing people, they're making enemies, and they're showing people that they're actually not a good person at all. The next characteristic that the Imam mentions is what happens when they lose that power. What we call being a sore loser. There are some people who they gain power and then they lose it. So let's say, give the same example, you become teacher for a day and you start to become the worst Zalimeen, worse than Yazid in your class, right? You do the worst things possible, and then your teacher takes that power away from you and gives it to somebody else. And that person oppresses as well too. Well, you're gonna get pretty upset, even though you were doing the exact same thing, right? So when we lose power, right, it's up to Allah who decides who has power, who has control, who has authority. So when we lose something that Allah's given us, if we're patient, if we're kind, we say, look, I deserved it for a little while, maybe I don't deserve it anymore, that's okay, somebody better has it now. Right, that shows our intelligence. There's 2 more things. It's what do we do when we have a lot of wealth, and what do we do when we don't have a lot of wealth? When you're ghani and when you're faqir. These are also 2 other things that show us how intelligent somebody can be. Somebody who's intelligent, who has wealth, will do what with it? Spend it on whatever they want? What are they going to do? What would a good Muslim do? Spend it wisely. And what is one of the best ways that a Muslim would spend? Give to charity. And because they know, they're smart enough to know that this is not my money. Allah has given it to me. I'm just, what we call a wasila. I'm just a medium, like an intermediary. I'm a messenger. Allah gave it to me. My job is, I have to do whatever I have to do for my life, take care of my family, whatever. And then I can help out those who need. And that's what Allah specifically gives. Some people, He gives them extra so that they can pass it out to others. Right? Let's say when food is being handed out, if somebody gives you like 10 bags of cookies, that doesn't mean you eat 10 bags of cookies. That means that, go pass it out to everybody else. But some people, unfortunately, what do they do in the society? They get a lot and then they eat a lot, right? Which is not a sign of intelligence. And then another sign is the opposite. Sometimes we get nothing. Sometimes we're the one who watches everybody else eat, let's say all the cookies, or they have a lot of money. They don't spend it, they don't share it, they don't do anything else. So what do? I can get upset, I can get angry, I could try to bully them, I can do a lot of things. Are any of those the signs of an intelligent person? No. An intelligent person will say, look, what they're doing doesn't bother me. If they have wealth, Allah gave it to them, good for them, may Allah give them more. If I don't have things right now, then that's what Allah decided. I have to be patient with it, and then maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. And that patience hopefully will show people that I have some intelligence. So, 6 things. How I interact with people, how good I am to them, especially being humble, if I have knowledge. How I deal with interactions, being fair and things about money. What do I do when I have power? If I'm kind to people or not. What happens when I lose power? Am I patient with that? What happens when I get money, a lot of money? What happens when I lose money? All of these 6 qualities are things which will truly show if somebody is actually intelligent or not. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ahli bayt at-tayyibin at-tahirin.